everybody, my name is Ruth Brash. I am an independent knitting and crochet designer, and I am here to talk to you today about choosing yarn for the Tunisian Express crochet along. This crochet along started September 14th, which is yesterday. Today is September 15th, 2020, and I'm going to help you choose some yarn for the Tunisian Express crochet along. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go check out this intro video. I'm not sure if it'll link up here or up here. Go check out the intro video that will explain to you what the Tunisian Express crochet along is and how you can join in on the fun with us. Okay, so this pattern, which I am wearing the Tunisian Express shawl right now, is a pattern that can work with a variety of yarns, yarn weights, hook sizes, so you can really just use whatever you have in your stash that you would like to make a nice drapey, squishy shawl out of. It can do anything from lace weight all the way up to super bulky. Most people find that their happy medium is in the fingering weight to worsted weight range and don't really want to go lower or higher than that. So I'm going to show you some yarns from budget yarns all the way up to the expensive indie dyed yarns to help you get an idea of what would be a really good, some good choices or some options that you might already have in your stash at home. So to start off with, we're going to start off with a classic, Lion brand Wool Ease. This has been one of my go-to yarns for years. It is affordable, it's available in stores, and it has really, really beautiful stitch definition, which means the stitches look crisp and clear and they don't look fuzzy. So this yarn is 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and there's just shy of 200 yards in each ball. So I would make a shawl with 2 of these, and you could either do them with chunks of color, or you could do them in stripes where you alternate each row. I'm gonna put a really, really pretty picture of a tester shawl on the screen where she used gray and gold in alternating stripes, and oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. So these would be really, really good to use. And these are easily found at like Michael's, Joann's, and I want to say they're maybe $5 each. And those places always have coupons out. So you could probably get both of them for about $6 total. These would be a great budget option. And honestly, I really enjoy this yarn. I really love it. Budget or not, no matter how much it costs, I like it. And I am not sponsored by any of these yarn companies, just so you know. These are yarns that I have in my stash because I use them on a regular basis. So I am making recommendations to you based on what I have purchased and what I like. Nobody has sent me yarn for free. No one has paid me to endorse anything. So that's option 1. Option 2 is Red Heart Roll With It. So this is a cake yarn and it is 100% acrylic, and you can see it's a little bit fuzzy because it's been hanging out in my stash for a while. But this is, let's see, where's the number? This is 389 yards for a 150 gram ball. And you could do an entire shawl with one of these. This shawl that I'm wearing right now is Lion brand Wool Ease stripes in a cake. So this is 150 grams in DK weight, and like this is a good size shawl. So you could easily use like the mandala yarn or the Wool Ease in the stripes or anything like that. You could use one cake of it, which would give you like a $6 or $7 shawl. Super easy, good to go. Stepping up in the price range just a tiny bit, you have Baroque Vintage. Baroque Vintage, if you have not used it, this was a new discovery to me maybe, I want to say like 2 months ago. It's been around forever. It's been available forever, and I just never used it for some reason. Baroque Vintage is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. So it's bumping up the wool content a little bit, lowering down the acrylic content a little bit. And I believe these are about $8 to $10 a skein depending where you get them. I really, really love the blue and gold combination. This gold color, oh, I guess they just have numbers. This gold color is 5192, and this blue color is 5146. Oh, look, this one has a price tag on it, $9. I was right. Look at me guessing right. Okay, so I would use both of these together, again, either as stripes or color blocking. If you used one skein, you would end up with more of a shawlette or a scarf. Or if you were going to do one for a child, one skein of like a worsted or DK, this is definitely a worsted, but one skein of like a worsted would be a great child-size scarf. So that's my next step up there. Option number 3, Knit Picks Preciosa Worsted. This is a single ply yarn, and this came to me in an accidental yarn subscription box that I thought I had canceled, and I had not. So it came with also a skein of their Stroll fingering weight. So I would do a single ply of this, a single strand of this, and a double strand of this, and I would do them together. Obviously I have stripes on the mind, and I think that the light and dark combination is really fun too, as opposed to, it still gives you the contrast, but as opposed to, say, the blue and the gold, if you don't want two colors, this is a little bit of a more subtle combination because they're both blue. So Knit Picks is, I think these are about 12 a skein, like 12 to 15 a skein. So again, these are a little bit more than the Baroque Vintage, but this is 100% merino, and this is 75% merino, 25% nylon. So if you have noticed, basically the higher the merino content, the more you're going to pay for yarn. I'm sure you figured this out already. Another option, if you subscribed to Knit Crate, I know a lot of people get subscription boxes and think, well, what am I going to do with the yarn? I tried it out for a couple months, and I ended up with these 2 skeins of a sort of chainette yarn that was unique to them. Vita Lana Lofty DK, 48% merino, 20% alpaca, 32% cotton. So it's a weird blend. So I have 2 skeins of this kind of weird blend in a chainette yarn sitting in my stash. Perfect timing. This would be a gorgeous single color scarf, shawl. Call it what you will. I will probably call this a scarf and a shawl interchangeably throughout all of these videos because it's a shawl. I'm currently wearing it as a scarf because this is how I wear my shawls. Ta-da! So something like this would be a little bit more lightweight, but it's very, very soft. And the alpaca cotton blend, you would have lots of drapiness because alpaca stretches and it gives you that drapiness. But the cotton and the chainette will give you stability, and it will give you crisp stitches. So if you're looking at blends, I guess this would technically count as a luxury blend because usually alpaca is called a luxury fiber. So this would probably be a luxury blend, but again, they're about $12 a skein. So I consider that mid-range. I would consider 4 to 8 a skein to be lower range, or like 3 to 8 a skein to be lower range, 10 to 15 to be mid-range, and anything, well, I guess 10 to like 18 mid-range, and anything $20 and higher I consider a luxury skein. Do what you will with that. Another mid-range pairing would be this combination that I got from my local yarn store. This is Baroque Millefiori. It's a single ply, and again, it's a 50-50 wool acrylic blend. Okay, so really pretty. And I would pair that with this KFI Adonis, which is 50% wool, 50% silk. So a little more luxurious, a little more easy to find because it's got the acrylic in it, but paired together, beautiful. And again, these were like 10 bucks at a local yarn store. So you could easily grab 2 skeins from a local yarn store. You could snag something online. You could go shop your stash. There's so many options for this shawl. And again, I have hook recommendations in the pattern for each size of yarn. So if you're not sure whether you want to do fingering weight or sport weight or DK or whatever you want to do, there's hook options in there for every single size. Another option you guys will probably recognize is Malabrigo. This is Malabrigo Rios. I would use 2 skeins of this. And I just love, love, love. This colorway is Hypnotic. It's literally called Hypnotic. I'm just not saying it's hypnotic. Look at that with the beautiful purples. This one, just because it speaks to me this way, I would do in the boomerang style. That swoop, the swoop with the purple, with the, oh my gosh, it would be gorgeous. And I'm not just pulling these out as options to show you. I was legitimately stash jiving, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do my Tunisian Express shawl in, and all of these came up as viable options. What, I don't know, I might have to make 5. We'll, you know, we'll see what happens. Okay, moving on a little more to the high end, but this would be a very special shawl. We have Handspun Hope. Handspun Hope is a really, really cool organization that obviously I think is fantastic. They employ widows and women in Rwanda who were victims of the Rwandan genocide, and they give them grief and trauma counseling, and they teach them spinning as a skill, as an export skill. So they are able to support their families. They are able to have the necessary counseling, you know, grief and trauma counseling, because they survived a horrible, horrible event. And yeah, just like to be able to have that income. And I think it's fantastic that this organization does it through spinning yarn. So these yarns are hand spun and they're naturally dyed, which is cool. So this is Voca Gray, which is, I want to say like avocado dyed. And this one is, the sticker came off. Very pretty. Whatever their beautiful gold is. Obviously I'm on a gray and gold kick right now, but I just love these. I've always loved Grello. It's obviously my color pairing because I have a whole bunch of it in there. Let's see. Okay, moving on slightly towards the higher end of things. Manos del Uruguay Milo. This is 65% wool and 35% linen. So I am in the northern hemisphere, which means we are heading towards winter. If you are in the southern hemisphere and you are currently heading towards summer, you might want something like this because it is a fingering weight linen blend. It'll still be warm because it has the wool, but the linen will help with the structure. It will make it a little more breathable. Yeah, 380 yards per 100 gram skein. So this is like a sport weight. So yeah, a linen blend sport weight shawl would definitely be more suited towards current southern hemisphere. And also another thing you could do if it's starting to get warmer where you are and not colder is you could crochet this at a looser gauge. So you could use a bigger hook than you normally would, and it'll give you a more drapey, more open looking shawl. Okay, almost at the end here. I have, I'm going to try to rustle as little as possible, a mini skein set from Dragon Hoard yarn. And these are just all the fall colors. She put out 2 mini packs this year. I've been stashing down, and this is like the one purchase I have made in about 2 months because these colors just like call out to me. So this is a really fun pattern for using up mini skeins because you'll get, the stripes will be thicker at the beginning if you just use one mini after another, after another, after another, and you don't stripe them at all, you'll get thicker portions at the beginning and thinner stripes at the end as you get towards the end. And I just love it. So this is a 7, each of these mini skeins is 20 grams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would give me 140 grams of fingering weight yarn. So I could do this one, or this is one of her bigger mini packs. Again, Dragon Hoard yarn. This is the Outlander pack, and I think it has 10 of them in here. 10 20-gram skeins, so I would have 200 grams and have that full big shawl. So that is, I love her yarn. I think everyone who's tried it does. Just, you know, I do. And then my highest end option is a single skein of a Yak Blend. And this has been hanging out with me for a couple of years because I've been hoarding it. But this would be a super duper luxury item. Yak Blends are usually like $35 to $40 a skein. This was a gift, so I do not know how much it cost, and I will not ask because I will just not ask. And so this I would use just a single skein of at a really loose gauge, and I would do the long thin version because this way you could stretch the yarn out as much as possible. It would be loose, and not stretch the yarn, but make it go as far as possible and still get that more of a scarf-like look. And at a loose gauge, it would be like a thin, drapey, very luxurious scarf. So if you have questions about yarn choice, feel free to either send me a DM or pop a comment in here below in the comment box, or you can post up your pictures of your swatches and ask for opinions, because who doesn't love to give their opinion on Facebook or Instagram? Am I right? Pop your picture up and be like, guys, here's my 3 options. I swatched this one, I swatched that one, I swatched that one. Which one should I choose? And I'm sure there will be a whole bunch of people that will be like, choose this one, because it's gorgeous. It's Tunisian crochet. So I hope you join us. I hope this helped you a little bit with choosing yarn that you would like to use for your Tunisian Express project. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about the Tunisian Express, week 2, 3, and the final week, week 4. Bye.